Picture a shadowy room filled with whirring machines and intense men hunched over tables, laden with cables and strange contraptions. These are the code breakers, working tirelessly to decipher enemy messages and potentially changing the course of the war. This is the stuff of movies and spy thrillers, but it's also the reality of a little-known chapter of World War II. Deep in the heart of England, a team led by the brilliant mathematician Alan Turing worked in utmost secrecy to crack one of the most sophisticated codes of their time, the German Enigma code. Their success not only helped shorten a global war, but also laid the foundation for the digital revolution we take for granted today. It's a story of brilliance, bravery, and intrigue. Welcome to my channel. Today we'll explore the hidden side of ink that changed empires they never taught you. Join me as I take you through the covert operations, ingenious tactics, and pivotal moments that made the Enigma code breakers true unsung heroes of history. If you're ready to unravel the mysteries of the past, give this video a like and let's dive into the captivating narrative together. By the late 1920s, Germany had developed a new encryption machine called Enigma. This machine was so advanced that it baffled even the best code breakers of the day. At the start of World War II, the Germans were using Enigma extensively to transmit military secrets, making it a critical part of their war strategy. Each Enigma machine was capable of producing billions of letter combinations, making it almost impossible to crack. The Allies desperately needed a way to read these messages if they were going to hope to stay one step ahead of the Germans. Enter Alan Turing, along with a team of mathematicians, logicians, and linguists at Bletchley Park in rural England. Turing set about the near impossible task of cracking the Enigma code. But how does one begin to break a code that seems virtually unbreakable? The answer lay in a combination of brilliant minds, sheer determination, and some very old-fashioned detective work. Initially, the code breakers relied on intuition and experience, spotting patterns and making educated guesses. As they analyzed captured German military communications, they looked for anomalies. Anything that suggested a particular word or phrase was being coded. Slowly but surely, they began to piece together elements of the German code. But this painstaking process wasn't enough. The team needed a faster, more efficient way to break the code. And so the bomb machine was born. Under Turing's guidance, a team of engineers and scientists created a series of complex electromechanical devices that could rapidly test thousands of potential solutions. Imagine a giant, noisy calculator that, instead of basic arithmetic, calculated and tested Enigma's possible settings. It was revolutionary. The bomb machine used a combination of gears, rotors, and electrical circuits to mimic the Enigma machine. By inputting known letters or words, the bomb could rapidly test different code settings and configurations, providing the code breakers with potential solutions in a matter of minutes instead of months. This marked a significant turning point in the battle of wits between the Allies and the Germans. The previously impenetrable Enigma code was now vulnerable. As the bombs began to roll out, the code breakers were able to start testing different settings, trying to find the right combination to crack the German code. The race was on against time. Every day that Enigma remained unbroken, the Germans grew more confident in their ability to communicate securely. But now, with the bomb's help, the tide was beginning to turn. While the bomb provided a massive boost to the code-breaking efforts, it was by no means foolproof. Each machine could only test a limited number of settings at a time, and there were still countless possible combinations to try. Nevertheless, it was a vital first step towards breaking the seemingly unbreakable code. Despite the ticking clock and the high stakes, the code breakers at Bletchley Park approached their work with a sense of calm determination. They knew that the fate of countless lives hung in the balance, and they were committed to their task. Working in shifts around the clock, they analyzed intercepted German transmissions, feeding information into the bomba and checking the results. Slowly but surely, the pieces of the puzzle began to fit together. As the weeks turned into months, the code breakers made incremental progress. They started with the Enigma machines used by German naval forces, gradually expanding their efforts to include military and diplomatic communications. Each successful decipherment was a cause for celebration, each failure a lesson for future attempts. It was a delicate, intricate process that demanded patience, precision, and an unwavering attention to detail. The tension was palpable as the code breakers waited for the bomb to finish its calculations. When the results finally appeared, they were met with either disappointment or elation. The wrong guess meant going back to the drawing board, double-checking the settings and starting again. But when the decoded message made sense, when the jumble of letters transformed into clear English text, it was a moment of triumph. The impact of cracking the Enigma code was profound. The British government estimated that breaking Enigma alone may have shortened the war by 2 years. Millions of lives were saved, countless battles turned. Yet for those involved, the work at Bletchley Park remained shrouded in secrecy. The men and women who toiled over the bomb and other code-breaking devices were not allowed to discuss their work with anyone outside the project, not even their families. This secrecy was vital to ensure that the Germans could not discover that their codes had been broken. It meant that for many of the code breakers, their contributions to the war effort remained unknown to the world until decades later. The legacy of the code breakers lives on in the digital age we inhabit today. The techniques and technologies developed at Bletchley Park laid the foundation for modern cryptography and computer science. Alan Turing, once a shadowy figure confined to the hush halls of Bletchley Park, is now recognized as a father of computer science and artificial intelligence. So why isn't this important? Because it was a time where the world was at war. Being able to decrypt the enemy's messages could mean the difference between victory and defeat. For example, the Battle of the Atlantic was a critical part of World War II. The Germans had control of the seas and were able to blockade Great Britain. This meant that the British were unable to get food and supplies from other countries. However, the British were able to use Enigma to communicate with each other. The Germans didn't know this, though, and assumed that the British were as vulnerable as they were. This gave the British an advantage that they were able to use to win the battle. The Battle of the Bulge was another critical moment in the war. This was a surprise attack by the Germans on the Western Front. The British and Americans were caught off guard and were able to decrypt the German messages. This gave them time to prepare and defend themselves. As a result, the attack failed. Beyond the battlefield, cracking Enigma helped the Allies avoid potential disasters. For instance, in 1943, the Germans planned to assassinate the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. They were able to communicate their plans using Enigma. However, the British were able to decrypt the message and take steps to protect Churchill. He was never in any danger. Now, here's the thing. The British weren't the only ones trying to crack the Enigma code. The Polish were actually the first to do so. They had a team of mathematicians and cryptographers who were able to come up with a way to break the code. However, when Germany invaded Poland, the Germans took all of the Enigma machines with them. This gave the British time to develop their own code-breaking machine. Now let's talk about the impact of this technology. Breaking the Enigma code was a major turning point in the war. It gave the Allies access to German military secrets, which allowed them to plan accordingly. For example, the Allies were able to learn about the D-Day invasion before it happened. This gave them time to prepare and defend themselves. As a result, the Allied forces were able to win the battle. In addition, breaking the Enigma code also helped to shorten the war. The British government estimated that it saved at least 4 years of fighting. This had a significant impact on the outcome of the war. Finally, the impact of this technology can still be felt today. The techniques and strategies developed by the code breakers at Bletchley Park are still used today in the field of computer science. Alan Turing, the man who led the team, is considered to be one of the fathers of computer science. His work paved the way for the digital age we live in today. Alright, I have a question for you. Do you think you would have been a good codebreaker during World War II? Let me know in the comments below. Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet? Without Turing, that might have been our reality. If you enjoyed this glimpse into history's hidden heroes, hit subscribe for more untold stories that shaped our world. Thanks for joining me on this journey through time. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep discovering the hidden stories that make our world so fascinating.